부르고 힘든 일에도 웃음만 나.
Hi everybody, welcome to Sir Chua's Accounting Lessons PH. Today we will be discussing the Statement of Comprehensive Income and the Statement of Changes in Equity. At the end of the video, you should be able to explain the nature and usefulness of the Statement of Comprehensive Income, explain the concept of profit or loss, other comprehensive income, and comprehensive income. Identify the components of other comprehensive income, prepare and present an income statement using functional presentation and natural presentation. Recognize the reclassification adjustment related to other comprehensive income, explain the concept of equity, identify and explain the components of equity, and prepare and present the statement of changes in equity. This is your lecturer, Kevin Troy M. Chua. Before anything else, please like, share, and subscribe to Sir Chua's Accounting Lessons PH and hit the notification bell button. Comment down your questions, suggestions, and reactions. Thank you very much for trusting Sir Chua's Accounting Lessons PH as your online learning partner. Our previous lesson was about financial statements under the International Accounting Standard 1 entitled Presentation of Financial Statements. So we have discussed the objectives of financial statements and the components of the complete set of financial statements. We also discussed the Statement of Financial Position and what are the items, inclusions, and how to prepare and present the Statement of Financial Position. And now we're ready to prepare a Statement of Comprehensive Income and a Statement of Changes in Equity. To review basic concepts of Statement of Comprehensive Income, that's for a senior high school level, you can visit po yung ating Lesson 36, which is the Statement of Comprehensive Income. At yan po ay nasa playlist ng Fundamentals of Accountancy, Business and Management Part 2. And also, if you want to review basic concepts of the Statement of Changes in Equity, yan din po ay para po sa senior high school level, you can visit Lesson 37, the Statement of Changes in Equity, dun din po sa playlist ng Fundamentals of Accountancy, Business and Management Part 2. So if you want po muna na magkaroon ng medyo foundational learning na mare-review nyo po, yun na pag-aralan nyo yung senior high school, pwede po kayong mag-visit sa Lesson 36 and Lesson 37 po sa ating FABM2 playlist dito din po sa Sir Chua's Accounting Lessons PH. Okay, so we will continue to discuss po yung ating pong financial statements using IAS 1 or International Accounting Standard 1 entitled Presentation of Financial Statements. So your professor should have given you a copy of that standard para po yan po ay nababasa at naaaral po ninyo on your own. But this will be the main basis for our discussion for this session. Okay, so first thing this session, let's talk about the Statement of Profit or Loss and OCI, the other comprehensive income. The Statement of Profit or Loss and other comprehensive income, or basically the Statement of Comprehensive Income, pwede rin nyo rin pong tawagin yon. If you would remember po, di ba, sa ating previous discussion, pwede daw pong magkaroon ng medyo kakaibang tawag, basta yun pa rin po yung dinedenote niya, sabi sa IAS 1. So actually, this financial statement is formally called in IAS 1 as the Statement of Profit or Loss and other comprehensive income. But for our purposes, we can actually call it simply as the Statement of Comprehensive Income. Ano daw po dapat ang laman ng Statement of Comprehensive Income? It shall present, in addition to the Profit or Loss and other comprehensive income sections, ito pong tatlo. Una po is dapat daw po nandun yung Profit or Loss section, and then your total OCI or other comprehensive income. And syempre, pag pinag-combine po natin yung effect nun dalawa, ang tawag po doon is comprehensive income for the period, which is the total of profit or loss and your OCI. If an entity presents a separate statement of profit or loss, it does not present the profit or loss section anymore in the statement that presents the comprehensive income. Dati po kasi, nung hindi pa nare-revise yung IAS 1 due to new developments, meron po tayong tinatawag na single statement format tsaka two statement format. Pag single statement format po, Statement of comprehensive income siya buo, no? Tapos nandun po lahat, profit or loss, OCI, so total comprehensive income. But in any case daw po na magpe-present ang company ng separate statement of profit or loss or yung nakasanayan po nating income statement, dapat daw po dun sa susunod na gagawin nyo, which is yun nga po, the statement of comprehensive income, ang starting point niya na lang po yung mismong net income. Pero you should not present the profit or loss section anymore in any case that you will be preparing a separate statement of comprehensive income. So, dapat po ang starting point niya na yung mismong net income. Pero hindi na po kayo magpe-present nung mismong profit or loss section kasi nandun na po siya sa separate nyo na income statement. Okay? But most of the entities, they prepare the statement of comprehensive income in a single statement format, which is nandun na po lahat. Your profit or loss, your other comprehensive income, tapos yung mismong total mo na po na comprehensive income for the period. Single statement na siya, okay? But all of those naman po na binanggit ko is actually acceptable under IAS 1. Okay, so according po sa paragraph 81B, no, ito po yung additional information that we need to provide. An entity shall present the following items in addition to the profit or loss and other comprehensive income sections. Ina-allocate daw po dapat natin yung ating profit or loss or yung net income under profit or loss. And then syempre po yung other comprehensive income po natin, dapat daw po siya ay allocated based on attributable to NCI at saka po owners of the parent, and ganun din po dapat syempre sa comprehensive income, NCI and equity owners of the parent. This is in accordance po if your company has a parent-subsidiary relationship and you prepare consolidated financial statements under IFRS 10, which is yun nga po, consolidated financial statements. Okay? Kung sakali daw po na separate po ang presentation ng profit or loss sa comprehensive income, yung letter A daw po, ito, yung non-controlling interest and owners of the parent ay naka-report daw po yung attribution or yung allocation na yan dun po sa statement na nagre-report ng profit or loss natin. But in summary, ang sinasabi po sa atin ng paragraph 81B is that you should present an allocation of profit or loss and OCI na nakaangkla po sa magkano po yung nasa NCI at magkano po yung nasa equity owners of the parent. At again, yan po ay nangyayari kapag ka po ang FS natin ay consolidated FS. Okay? For those who have parent-subsidiary relationship. Okay, ito po daw dapat yung laman ng ating profit or loss under paragraph 82. As you can see, meron po tayong mga additional items na nakalagay dito na IFRS 17 because the IAS 1 has already been revised as to the provisions po ng IFRS 17, which is insurance contracts. Okay, so first of all, you present your revenue, but basically, you need to present separately lahat po ng interest revenue and then yung atin pong insurance revenue under IFRS 17. But the standard specifically tells us na interest revenue using the effective interest method po. Okay? And then any gains or losses arising from the recognition of financial assets that are measured under amortized cost or measured at amortized cost. And then insurance service expenses under IFRS 17, income or expenses under IFRS 17 as well, and then finance cost po natin, for example, yung ating pong mga interest expenses on bank loans or bonds payable, ganon. And then impairment losses, which also includes the reversals of your impairment loss or impairment gains determined in accordance with IFRS 9. Okay? And then insurance finance income or expenses from contracts under IFRS 17, finance income or expenses from reinsurance contracts under IFRS 17, and also the share of the profit or loss of associates and other joint ventures accounted for using the equity method. So if you remember po, 'di ba, meron tayong tinatawag na investment in associate, at yun pong investment in associate, meron po tayo doon na share of net income from the associate, which is yun po yung entity na meron po tayong significant influence. And as you know, meron po tayong share of net income doon. So that increases actually the carrying value nung atin pong investment, no, sa balance sheet. Pero wag nyo kalilimutan dahil meron po tayong share ng profit or loss po doon. Meron po siyang separate line item sa ating pong profit or loss section. In any case that you have a share of profit or loss in associates and joint ventures that is accounted for using the equity method, then that's what you should do. You present also the share of that profit or loss. Okay? So wag nyo pong kalilimutan yon. And then in any case daw po na meron tayong financial asset na reclassified out of amortized cost measurement category so that it is measured, papunta na po siya ng fair value through P&L, any gain or loss daw po na mag-a-arise between the previous amortized cost of the financial asset papunta po ng fair value through PL at the reclassification date. So nagkakaroon ka po ng reclassification from amortized cost going to P&L. Syempre may gain or loss po yun, sasama din po natin yon. Okay? And also, financial asset reclassified out of the fair value through OCI so that it is measured at fair value through PL. So, from fair value through other OCI, from other comprehensive income, papunta ka rin po ng fair value through PL. Ganun din po gagawin nyo po. Pag nagkaroon ka ng ganong reclassification, yung any gain or loss attributable to that, sama nyo rin po sa profit or loss. And then, syempre, tax expense, no? But what we usually do is current tsaka deferred portions, no? Nakahiwalay. Later on, sa mga examples natin, makikita nyo po yan. And then, kailangan daw po natin mag-present kung sakaling meron po tayong results ng discontinued operations, that's under IFRS 5, non-current assets held for sale and discontinued operations. Dapat po, meron po tayong separate line item, pero ang requirement po natin ay, single amount lang po dapat. Okay, so single amount lang po dapat yung i-report dun po sa ating discontinued operations. Now, OCI or other comprehensive income are items of income and expenses including reclassification adjustments na hindi po nire-recognize in profit or loss dahil nire-require po ng isang IFRS na siya po ay isang OCI o hindi po kaya siya ay permitted by IFRS na i-present bilang OCI. So basically, these are income and expenses kasama po yung reclassification adjustments na hindi po PL. Dahil required ng IFRS na hindi siya i-report sa PL or permitted ng IFRS na siya po ay hindi i-report as PL. Yun po yung OCI. Okay? Let's have some examples. Ano po ba yung usually mga OCI natin? Unrealized gain or loss on equity investments measured at fair value through OCI. Unrealized gain or loss on debt investment measured at fair value, syempre through OCI din. Gain or loss from translating financial statements of a foreign operation. And then we also have revaluation surplus during the year. Unrealized gain or loss from derivative contracts designated as a cash flow hedge, and remeasurements of defined benefit plan. So, saan po pinag-uusapan to? Sa mga past 19 natin, di ba? Actuarial gain and loss on projected benefit obligation, the difference between actual return on plan assets and interest income on fair value of plan assets, and change in the effect of asset ceiling minus interest on the beginning effect of asset ceiling. So, lahat po ito ay na-discuss na po sa inyo sa employee benefits under past 19. Okay? So, yun po yun. Now, an entity shall present additional line items, pwede po yun, headings and subtotals in the statements presenting profit or loss and other comprehensive income kung sakali daw po na yung mga additional line item, heading and subtotals po natin ay relevant na makakatulong po siya sa understanding ng financial performance po ng isang entity. Okay? So, pwede daw po tayo magdagdag ng additional line items that would add to the understanding po ng financial performance ng isang company. Okay? Now, with regard to subtotals, ito po daw yung ating mga kailangang intindihin. Yung mga kailangan daw po nating tandaan. Okay? First is, the subtotal should be comprised of line items made up of amounts recognized and measured in accordance with IFRS. So, hindi ka basta-basta dapat mag-present ng subtotals. Dapat under pa rin ng standard or sumunod ka pa rin sa standard. Depende sa standard na susundin mo, no? kung ano yung mga subtotals na ipepresent mo. So, hindi ka pwedeng basta-basta lang maglagay ng trip mo kasi gusto mo maintindihan kaya ganito. No, it should still be within the provisions of the IFRS. And then, it should be presented and labeled in a manner that makes the line items that constitute the subtotal clear and understandable. Okay? And then, it should be consistent from period to period. So, dahil po ang presentation natin of financial statements are comparative in nature, it should be consistent. How you prepared it last year should also be the same as how you prepare it this year. In any case that you should present subtotals, no? No, hindi po pwedeng magkaiba yung presentation natin ng subtotals ng 2019 at saka 2020. Dapat magkapareho para comparable. Okay? Dapat may consistency. And then, it should not be displayed with more prominence than the subtotals and totals required by the IFRS in presenting PL and OCI. So, kung ano po yung sinasabi ng standard na talagang makikita na line items na present natin kanina, dapat daw po, hindi daw po i-present yung subtotals with more prominence than the line items and totals na nire-require sa atin nung mga paragraphs na diniscuss natin kanina. Okay, so yan po yung ruling natin as to our subtotals. Okay. And then, as to disclosures naman po, because of the effects of the entity's various activities, transactions, and other events that differ in frequency, potential gain or loss, and predictability, disclosing the components of financial performance assists users in understanding the financial performance achieved and in making projections of future financial performance. Okay. Ang isang income statement po kasi, no, yung mismong statement of comprehensive income, ay pinapakita po nito yung gaano ba kagaling yung isang company na kumita. Parang gano'n, no? How are they performing financially? No? Because of that, na kailangan po nating maintindihan kung ano po ba yung mga aktibidades, ano po ba yung mga ginagawa ng isang company in order for them to gain revenue, and what are the expenses attributed or matched with them. No? Because of that, because of the various activities na kailangan nating maintindihan, paano ba kumikita ang isang company na to? What are the usual transactions that they have? No? And because iba-iba daw po yung kaparaanan, at hindi lamang kaparaanan, iba-iba daw po kung paano talaga kumikita ang isang company, there should be a disclosure on the components of financial performance na makakatulong daw po, number 1, in understanding the financial performance of the company, and number 2, making projections about the future of an entity. No? So, dapat daw po, on the concept of understandability, maintindihan po natin yung financial performance ng company, and syempre, that information should also be useful sa ating pong projections about the future. After all, ang ating pong financial statements serve the external users of accounting information upon under understandability, and syempre din po, they also serve the internal users of accounting information dun naman po sa projections about the future. So basically, it's about decision making. Parang ganon. An entity shall not present any items of income or expense as extraordinary items. So, kung siya po ay lost na, diretso lost na po talaga yon. Okay? Wala po tayong ipepresent na extraordinary items. Okay? So, an extraordinary item is an accounting term that refers to an abnormal gain or loss that is not generated from ordinary business operations, infrequent in nature, or hindi mo naman na nakikita mauulit-uli in the future. Yan daw po yung mga extraordinary items. So, wala daw po tayong dapat i-report na income or expense as extraordinary items. So, kapag ka nangyari na, or lost na siya, or gain na siya, re-report mo lang the usual. Parang ganon, no? So, hindi daw po siya dapat i-present bilang extraordinary item. Kasi parang ang dating, extraordinary man siya o hindi, nangyari na eh. So, kung lost siya, lost talaga siya. Parang ganon. Okay? So, yun po. An entity shall recognize all items of income and expense in a period in profit or loss unless an IFRS requires or permits otherwise. So basically naman po, nilistan naman po sa atin ng IAS 1 yung mga dapat makita. So in any case daw po na ang isang IFRS may requirement to present like this, or meron pong ibang provision, so susundin po natin yon. Okay? And then, an entity shall disclose the amount of income tax relating to each item of OCI, okay? Including reclassification adjustments, either in the statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income or in the notes. So, yung tax effect daw po ng ating mga OCI, pwede mo pong i-present mismo sa statement or sa notes to FS. Pero kung gusto mo maging detalyado na kada OCI, yung tax effect niya nandun, pwede naman po sa notes to financial statement. Kasi po yung phase ng FS natin, usually yung tax effect po ng ating OCI, it's either we present your OCI net of the tax effect na already, or meron lang pong isang line item na tax effect ng OCI. May mga ganun din pong company. So, depende po sa inyo, sa company nyo, kung paano po siya i-present. Pero inaalaw po tayo ng standard na i-detalye mo sa note o i-present mo sa face ng FS. Walang problema. Okay? An entity shall disclose reclassification adjustments relating to components of other comprehensive income. So, required daw po tayo na magkaroon ng disclosure relative sa reclassification adjustment. At dahil po nag-uusap na tayo ng tungkol sa reclassification adjustment, ano po ba yon, no? That's under paragraph 93 of IAS 1. Other IFRS specify, so yung mga accounting standard po natin na iba, no, ay bukod sa IAS 1, sinasabi daw po doon, ano daw po yung mga items natin ng OCI na pwedeng i-reclassify sa profit or loss. Ang tawag daw po doon, reclassification adjustment. A reclassification adjustment is included with the related component of OCI, tapos i-adjust mo daw po siya dahil i-reclassify mo going to PL. These amounts may have been recognized in OCI as unrealized gains in the current or previous period. So what should you do? Kasi kasama siya sa OCI, tapos i-reclass mo. Yung mga unrealized gains daw po na yon, it should be deducted to OCI in the period kung kailan mo daw po siya i-reclassify para matatanggal mo yung effect niya sa OCI, malalagay mo na yung effect niya sa PL. So ang mangyayari daw po is yung effect niya sa total comprehensive income, isa lang. Kasi ang mangyayari po, pag ni-reclassify mo, tas hindi mo natanggal ng maayos doon sa OCI, doble yung effect. Nasa OCI na, nasa PL pa. Ni-reclass mo na nga as PL, so dapat matanggal siya as OCI. Para ang effect niya sa total comprehensive income, isa lang. Para daw po, again, ano sabi sa standard? To avoid including them in the total comprehensive income twice the amount. Okay? So, para hindi po magdoble yung effect. Pag nag-reclass tayo, tanggalin sa OCI, lagay sa PL. Okay. OCI that will be reclassified subsequently to PL. Ito pa yung mga examples na pwede nating i-reclass. Gain or loss from translating FS of a foreign operation. Unrealized gain or loss on derivative contracts designated as a cash flow hedge. So, na-discuss na po yan sa inyo sa accounting for special transactions yata. Or sa isa, yung accounting for business combinations. Basta dyan sa advanced accounting nyo, nandyan yan. Okay? And then, unrealized gain or loss on debt investments measured at fair value through OCI. Ano naman po yung mga OCI na hindi natin pwedeng i-reclass to PL? Unrealized gain or loss on equity investments measured at fair value through OCI dahil po upon disposal of that investment, diretso po ang reclassification niya sa RE, retained earnings. Okay, and then change in revaluation surplus, diretso rin po yan sa RE. Remeasurement of a defined benefit plan not recycled subsequently to PL but may be transferred within equity or retained earnings. And then gain or loss attributable to credit risk of a financial liability designated at fair value through PL dahil yan po ay dinediretso ang effect sa equity or retained earnings. Okay, pero tingnan nyo mabuti, hindi daw pwede i-reclassify to PL pero tungkol siya sa PL. Ito po kasi ay tungkol sa credit risk of a financial liability. Okay, designated at fair value through PL. Yan po ay idediretso nyo sa equity. Okay, now with the expenses, inaalaw po tayo under paragraph 99 na i-present po ang expenses either on their nature or function. Kung ano daw po sa tingin nyo na way na pagpe-present ng ganitong mga expenses natin, magiging reliable, relevant, and syempre understandable. Okay? So, meron po tayong tinatawag na nature of expense method. Pag nature of expense method po, dalawang component lang, revenue and expenses. Tapos yung expenses mo po, naka-report based sa kung ano ba yung nature niya. Ano ba talaga siya? For example, changes in inventory ba siya? Supplies ba siya? Or raw materials consumed in the production process, employee benefits expense like mga pasahod mo, bonuses mo, yung mga commissions. Pero minsan ang commission kasi nakahiwalay pang presentation. So, pwede rin ganon, no? And then, depreciation ba siya? Amortization ba siya? Other expenses ba siya? Okay? Pag nagre-report po tayo ng income statement using the nature of expense method, ang presentation po natin ng expenses is ano ba talaga siya? Ano ba ang nature niya? Depreciation ba siya? Amortization ba siya? Employee benefit ba siya? O supplies ba siya? Ganon, no? So, ano po ba talaga siya? Yun yung nature of expense method. Unlike po sa function of expense method, you report it based on its function in the entity. Cost of goods sold ba siya? Distribution cost ba siya? Administrative expense ba siya? Finance cost ba siya? Other expense ba siya? Nakadepende po naman siya sa function niya sa entity. Selling expense ba siya? Administrative expense ba siya? And syempre, cost of goods sold na reporting. So, ang iba pong tawag natin sa function of expense method is syempre cost of goods sold presentation or a cost of goods sold income statement. Okay? And syempre, one feature po ng ating function of expense method, meron po tayong gross profit sa function of expense method na hindi po nire-report sa natural presentation. Okay? So, yun po. Now, kung sakali daw po tayo ay gagamit ng functional presentation, required po tayong mag-disclose ng additional information on the expenses by nature naman. Okay? So, i-check naman po natin or i-present naman po natin sa disclosure yung nature naman po ng expenses. Okay? Including depreciation and amortization expense and employee benefit expense. Later on, sa ating pong mga example, maiintindihan nyo yung sinasabi ko na paano po ba siya sinesegregate by function at paano po ba siya sinesegregate by nature. Sa ating pong mga example, mamaya magigets po natin yan. Okay, sige, diretso po tayo sa Statement of Changes in Equity. Ito daw po ang dapat na laman ng ating Statement of Changes in Equity. Total comprehensive income for the period, pero dapat daw po nakaseparate yung equity owners of the parent at saka NCI or the non-controlling interest. For each component of equity, kung sakali man daw po na meron po tayong retrospective application or retrospective restatement, lalagay nyo po yung effect nun. Yan po ay according sa IAS 8, yung ating pong accounting policies, changes in accounting estimates and errors. So, yan po yun. And then, dapat daw po may beginning and ending balances po yung ating capital statement na nandun daw po yung disclosure kung bakit nagkaroon ng beginning and ending balances. Ano yung changes inside of that? Bakit yung beginning balance naging ending balance? Ano daw po dapat yung ma-present natin na laman na yon, no? Syempre, yung P&L natin and then OCI and transactions with owners in their capacity as owners like issuance of share capital, so showing separately contributions and distributions to owners and changes in ownership interest in subsidiaries that do not result in a loss of control. So, issuance of share capital, tapos daw po yung ating mga dividends, no? Ayan, no? Contributions by owners, yun po yun. Or distributions to owners, yun yung mga dividends, no? Yun po. So, basically, dapat maipresent daw po natin sa ating Statement of Changes in Equity yung beginning balance, tapos yung effect po ng different transactions that can affect equity, like your net income and OCI, at saka issuance of share capital and dividends. And syempre, may meron pa po tayong mga ibang example mamaya. Okay, so information to be presented in the statement or in the notes for each component of an equity, an entity shall present either po sa mismong statement or sa notes an analysis of other comprehensive income by item. So meron po tayong mga separate columns mamaya na ipapakita sa mga examples po natin. Okay? And then, an entity shall present either in the statement of changes in equity or in the notes the amount of dividends recognized as distributions to owners during the period and yung dividends per share. So, pili ka po, pwede daw po mismo sa statement or pwede rin po sa notes natin i-present yung tungkol po sa dividend information and yung ating pong dividends per share. Okay, so yun po yun. Diretso po tayo sa ating mga examples. Okay, dito po muna tayo sa ating functional versus natural presentation ng ating PL. Okay. Yung nakikita nyo po dito sa left side ay functional presentation at ito naman pong nasa right side natin ay natural presentation. Isa-isahin po natin yung features niya. Pag function of expense method po, number 1 na malalaman yung functional presentation siya is meron tayong presentation ng cost of goods sold, which is your beginning inventory plus net purchases, which is your cost of goods available for sale, less ending inventory, that is your cost of goods sold. So, syempre, dahil may cost of goods sold, may gross profit. Tapos, dyan ka po magpe-present ng iyong other income and investment income, which constitutes your total income. Tsaka ka po ngayon magmaminus ng operating expenses, that's your income before tax, and then compute. Sabi po ng standard, kailangan may separate presentation yung tax expense natin, which will lead to your net income. Ngayon po, pag sinabi po kasing function of expense method, which is ito nga po yun, yung mga expenses po natin is nakagrupo based sa kung ano po ba ang function niya sa entity. Cost of goods sold ba siya? Distribution cost ba siya? Administrative expense ba siya? O, lagyan natin ng meaning para mas maintindihan nyo. Pag sinabi pong distribution cost, ito po yung basically mga tungkol po sa ating selling expenses, no? Sa pagbebenta natin. Okay? Pasahod mo sa mga trabahador mo na nasa selling area, sales salaries, sales commissions. Siyempre, you want to make sure that your products are known. Kaya po, part po ng selling expense mo, yung advertisements. Okay? Advertising expense. And then, syempre, meron ka sa store area, sa selling area na supplies. So, store supplies expense. Delivery expense ng mga products natin. And sa mismong store area, meron pong equipment doon, yung depreciation nun. So, kung titingnan nyo mabuti, ang mga nature niya, salaries, advertising expense, delivery, depreciation, yun yung nature niya. Pero igugrupo mo siya, ano bang function niya sa entity? Ang function niya sa entity ay tungkol sa selling. So, igugrupo mo siya, ang tawag mo dun, distribution cost. Okay? So, that's how you do it. Administrative expenses naman, lahat ng makikita mo sa opisina. Office salaries and bonuses, supplies mo sa opisina, taxes and licenses, bad debts, and depreciation naman po ng office equipment. So, ano po yung nature niya? Excuse me. Ano po yung nature niya? Salaries, supplies expense, taxes and licenses, bad debts expense, depreciation. Yun yung nature niya. Pero they are grouped collectively as administrative expense. Kasi yun po yung function niya sa entity. Okay? And then, dun po tayo sa other expenses natin like other expenses and losses. And then, finance cost naman po is yung ating mga interest and other charges. Basically, about financing. Bank loans and bonds payable. So, yun po yun. Yung nilalagay po natin na function of expense method. Dito naman po sa ating nature of expense method, ang nangyayari naman po dito mga kapatid is you present your expenses naman po based on nature. So nature po yung titignan natin sa kanya. Okay? So dahil nature po, talagang ano po ba siya talaga? Ano po ba yung nature ng expense na yon? Okay? So sa natural presentation po ay nandun pa rin po ang net sales pero ilalagay mo na agad si other income tsaka si investment income. So, idediretso nyo na po agad si income. Okay? And then, so kung mapapansin nyo po, magiging magkaiba po yung total income natin as to functional presentation and natural presentation. Okay? Magiging magkaiba po siya. Kasi, dito, naka-minus na siya as cost of goods sold. Kaya, ang income mong isa is naka-gross profit na kasi wala nang cost of goods sold. Unlike dito, puro. Talagang net sales, other income, investment income. So, magkakaroon po ng konting total income as to presentation lang naman, no? Ng functional or natural. So, pag tinignan nyo na po yung operating expenses nyo, asahan nyo na nature, by nature na siya. Depreciation ba siya? Siya ba ay office supplies? Siya ba ay employee benefits? Pero kung titignan nyo yung notes, isa-isa dyan sa loob, yung depreciation na to, magkasama dyan yung depreciation mo sa store area, tsaka depreciation ng equipment mo sa office area. Okay? Itong mga employee benefit cost, nandyan yung mga pasahod mo sa opisina, tsaka mga pasahod mo sa mga nasa selling area. Ganon. Yun yung sinasabi ko na nakagrupo na po kasi yung expenses mo based sa kung ano ba siya. Ano ba yung nature niya? Hindi na siya function. Nature na. Ano ba talaga siya? Depreciation ba siya? Amortization ba siya? Employee benefit ba siya? Okay? So, ganun po. Okay. So, i-check pa po natin yung similarities and differences nila one by one. So, sorry po, ang aking pong yatang muka ay nandito sa gilid. So, hindi nyo makikita yung net income. But, the net income should still be the same, 1,491,000 po. Okay? So, kung paano po kayo mag-present ng net sales, pareho lang po. No? Pareho lang po siya. And then, sa ating pong cost of goods sold, nandito na po siya sa natural presentation. Ganyan na po ang pagpe-present sa kanya. Increase or decrease in your inventory and then net purchases. Pero kung titingnan nyo pong mabuti, 5,900,000 minus 500,000, yan po yung 5,400,000. So basically, pag pinag-combine nyo po itong dalawa, yan din naman po yung cost of goods sold. Okay? And then yung ating pong other income and investment income, sa functional presentation, after pa po siya ng gross profit, which is after mo po mag-deduct ng cost of goods sold. Pero sa natural presentation po, nandun po siya mismo sa part ng revenues. Okay? And then, dito naman po sa distribution cost, ang function po ng mga expenses na yan, distribution. Pero by nature, ano po ba siya? Pwedeng sales salaries. Okay? Pwedeng sales commission. Pwedeng advertising. Pwedeng store supplies. At pwedeng delivery. At pwedeng depreciation ng store equipment. So, nung ipe-present mo na siya under natural presentation, ang nangyari po is, naka-breakdown na po siya, nakagrupo na po siya kung ano talaga siya, ano yung nature niya. Pero pag functional presentation, nakagrupo po siya base sa function niya, which is, function niya sa selling area, distribution cost. Okay? And then, administrative expenses naman po natin, tignan po natin. So, pwede pong siya ay office salaries, depreciation of office equipment, taxes and licenses, at saka po doubtful accounts. So, diba? So dito sa functional presentation, by function. Dito sa natural presentation, kung ano talaga siya. Okay? So, ganun po yun. Now, kung papansinin nyo po yung other expenses po natin, tsaka finance cost, pareho lang. Kasi nagkakataon po na yung function niya, yun din yung nature niya. Okay? Kaya parang medyo hindi siya nagbago. Okay, so ganun po ang ating functional versus natural presentation. And to give you naman po actual exposure to financial statements from actual companies, no, I will be presenting you Jollibee Foods Corporation Statement of Comprehensive Income and Statement of Changes in Equity in 2019 sa kanila pong pinresent na annual report. Kung kayo po ay curious, pwede po kayong pumunta mismo sa website ng Jollibee Foods Corporation at punta po kayo sa kanilang mga annual report, and this one that we will be presenting here in this video is ito po yung kanilang 2019 financial statements. Pero we will be focusing po sa kanilang Statement of Comprehensive Income and Statement of Changes in Equity. Okay, dito po muna tayo sa kanilang Statement of Comprehensive Income. Okay, so pakita ko po muna sa inyo yung profit or loss area. Okay? Dito po muna tayo mag-usap. Profit or loss area po muna. Para mas makita nyo po mabuti, dito na lang muna tayo sa 2019. Huwag na natin pag-usapan yung ibang taon. Nakaano lang naman po siya, comparative presentation. Okay? So, ganun po. Dahil gross sales, tapos sales discount, so net sales, no? Hindi niya po sineparate note yung sales discount. Kaya po, dun mismo sa face ng FS pinresent, okay lang naman yan. No? And then meron po silang royalty income kung ano man po nilang nagagawa yon, no? And then meron po silang PFRS 15 impact. So may sinundan po silang standard which is revenue from contracts from customers, PFRS 15. So yung effect po nun. Okay, so ito po yung total niyan, 179,626,188. And then, i-deduct po natin yung direct cost. So, hindi po siya tinatawag na cost of goods sold, pero yan po yung directly attributable cost that will be matched with the revenue to give you your gross profit. So basically, the presentation is a functional presentation. Okay? And then magdededuct po tayo ng expenses. Sa kanila po is general and administrative at saka advertising and promotions. Okay? So ito po yun. And then, sabi po ng standard, kapag daw po interest, di ba, hihiwalay mo ng presentation. So ito po yun. Okay? And then, ito po yung equity in net earnings or losses of joint ventures and associates. Yan po yung sinasabi ko kanina na in any case, you have companies that you have significant influence, yung share na net income nila doon, lalagay mo po as a separate line item. And then, kung sakali man po may other income pa si company, lagay mo rin po. Which gives you your other your income before income tax. Tapos, ire-report mo po yung tax expense, both the current and deferred, which will give you a net income of 6,422,916. So, hindi nyo po yata kita sa video kasi nandito po ako sa gilid, no? Pero, yun po. The net income is 6,422,916. Okay. So, ito naman po yung kanilang comprehensive income area, no? Yung kanila pong comprehensive income area, syempre, magsa-start sa net income, di ba? Okay, and then, re-report mo na po si other comprehensive income. O, ito po, titignan natin mabuti. Other comprehensive income or loss to be reclassified to PL in the subsequent periods. Ito na po. So, translation adjustment of foreign subsidiaries, translation adjustments of foreign joint ventures and associates, comprehensive income on derivative liability, and noong 2017 po kasi meron sila neto, so wala po for 2018 at for 2019, unrealized net unrealized gain on change in fair value of AFS financial assets pero naka-net of tax po. Okay? And then yung mga hindi daw po pwedeng i-reclassify is yun nga po, syempre, di ba? Yung mga tungkol sa employee benefits natin, remeasurement gain or loss on pension net of tax. Okay? So, ito po yung anilang other comprehensive income. I-adjust po yun dun sa net income to get your total comprehensive income. Ito po yung sinasabi natin kanina at the start of the slides na dapat daw po ay ibibigay mo yung attribution, yung allocation ng net income to the equity holders of the parent company and any NCI or the non-controlling interest. Okay? So, kung titignan nyo po, ito yung net income, 6,422,916, no? Tapos, ay ito po yung equity holders of the parent company daw po, 6,432,434, and then the non-controlling interest is 9,518. Okay? So, pero parang loss yung attributed sa NCI no? Parang ganon. So, yun po yung 6,422,916. And then, syempre, yung atin din daw pong total comprehensive income dapat ay naka-allocate din po sa equity holders of the parent company and sa atin din pong non-controlling interest. Okay? And then, we also present po yung tinatawag nating earnings per share information. Napag-aaralan po natin in our mga susunod na lesson po natin, no? Kung paano po mag-present ng earnings per share information. Okay? Pero po si Jollibee, ang presentation niya po ay isang buo po siya na statement of comprehensive income. So, ang naging starting point niya po ay revenue, tapos meron po siyang gross profit, so naka-functional presentation nga po siya, which will lead to your net income, and then adjustments of OCI, and then your total comprehensive income. Okay? Tapos, meron pong presentation ng allocation ng net income to equity holders of the parent and NCI, and then yung ating pong total comprehensive income as to equity holders din po and NCI, and then yung ating pong basic and diluted earnings per share. Okay, so ganyan po ang pagpe-present natin ng statement of comprehensive income. Doon naman po tayo sa company statement of changes in equity. So, wag po kayong malula. Ganito po talaga itsura niya. Bakit po ganyan ka-comprehensive? Kasi sabi nga po sa inyo kanina, bawat item daw po ng comprehensive income dapat merong separate na presentation. Okay? And then syempre, hindi lang naman po yun. Meron po tayong capital stock, meron tayong additional paid-in capital, other reserves, at saka yung mga NCI natin. And syempre, dapat po, pine-present po natin siya as to equity attributable sa equity holders, and meron din pong separate na column for the non-controlling interest. Dahil nga po, ito ay consolidated statement of changes in equity. So, ito po yung laman, di ba sabi po sa atin kanina, actually, no, lahat nung sinabi natin na nasa IAS 1, nandito pinresent ng Jollibee Foods Corporation. For example, nagkanong ka ng restatement dahil inadopt mo si PFRS 16 leases. Okay? So, anong sabi po natin, 'di ba? Pagka daw po nagkakaroon ng changes in accounting policies under IAS 8, o present mo rin yung effect noon. So, ito po 'yon, 'di ba? Kasi nag-adapt ka ng bagong standard, PFRS 16. Okay? Tapos, dapat daw po, kita din po sa Statement of Changes in Equity, yung ating pong net income, yung profit or loss, tapos yung other comprehensive income, and contributions and distributions to owners. Ito po yung mga contributions by owners, issuance of capital stock, and then distribution to owners like cash dividends. O, di ba nandito lahat? Tapos anong sabi? Dapat daw po mai-present natin yung mga net effect na ito starting with the beginning balance and going to the ending balance. So, Jollibee Foods Corporation is a good example ng lahat ng sinabi po sa standard. Okay? So, hindi na po natin masyadong iisa-isahin, but ito po yung galing sa equity attributable to the equity holders of the parent company. So, meron po siyang capital stock, additional paid-in capital, and other reserves. And then, cumulative translation adjustments of foreign subsidiaries, remeasurement gains and losses, unrealized gain on fair value of AFS financial assets, derivative liabilities, and so on. So, meron din po syempre tayong tungkol sa retained earnings. And then, syempre, ito po yung sa parent company lang. And then, ito po yung, syempre, isasama po natin si non-controlling interest. Okay? So, kung ano po yung information na nasa Statement of Comprehensive Income mo, lalagay mo rin dito, which is basically your net income and your other comprehensive income, which will lead you into your computation of your total shareholders equity. Na yan naman din po yung ilalagay mo sa balance sheet, 'di ba? So ganun lang. Okay? So, yan po yung ating consolidated statement of changes in equity ni Jollibee Foods Corporation. Again, if you are curious about the financial statements of Jollibee Foods Corporation, you can go to their website, go to their annual reports, and download the 2019 annual report, which carries the financial statements of Jollibee Foods Corporation. And our next lesson is the statement of cash flows and the notes to financial statements. Again, please like, share, and subscribe to Sir Chua's Accounting Lessons PH and hit the notification bell button. Comment down your questions, suggestions, and reactions. This has been Sir Chua's Accounting Lessons PH. To God be all the glory, honor, and praise. Thank you and have a great day. Reach for your dreams. 사랑해요.
이제 어떻게 지독하게 봐